Welcome to the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast with Mike Kincaid and Jake Goebel. Join them as they experience specialty coffee and document their journey. These friends explore roasts and roasting methods, brewing equipment and techniques, and review the cafes they visit along the way.
Thanks, Rioni, and thank you for joining us for episode 93 of the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast, where Mike and I basically just recap our trip to Las Vegas, where we tried to visit 8 cafes for our time there and actually get some real work done as well. We didn't make 8. I think we made 6. I think we talk about 5 here. I'm not certain, but we had a great time. I hope you have a good time hearing about it. Let's jump right in. Welcome to the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast. I am Jake Goebel. Sitting here with me is the Michael Kincaid. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Thank you.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Or evening.
Or evening.
Depending on when you're listening.
Or good night.
For us, it's everything. Oh, what was that?
For us, it's coffee time. That's all that really matters. Whether it's morning, noon, or night, it is coffee time. Mikey is drinking a little bit of this King Cup. I am drinking a little bit of the last of the coffee that we got from our Brew Pal.
Super?
I can't. What was it called? I can't remember. It was forgettable. I'm sorry. It was a forgettable name and forgettable coffee. I'm sorry. Is that too honest? Too brutally honest? There's a part of me that doesn't want to say something negative because of the way that we received it, and we love, the coast to coast roast. We love all that. We love being a part of it. But every once in a while, you just get coffee that you don't necessarily is not doesn't align with your flavor profile, your taste profile. That's all. That's all. Every once in a while, you're going to get some that just doesn't sit quite right with you. But that is the wonderful thing about trying lots of different coffees is that you kind of are able to dial in what it is that you do like and what makes a coffee more appealing to your palate. So we have got 0 plans for today, right? I mean, like 0 notes.
I mean, you might.
Absolutely nothing.
No.
You have something for today?
No, we do.
Oh, okay.
I think, what do you really forgot already?
Well, we got back from Vegas.
There you go.
So we have that, but
we have 5 coffee shops to talk about.
Yeah, I don't remember any of them, though.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, then it's a good thing I'm here. Yeah, we got to talk about that, and then we also want to talk about this article you came across that discussed
across
that discussed.
Well, it does bring up an interesting point. Do you say kitty corner or catty corner? I'd never
kitty
heard
corner.
I'd never heard kitty corner before.
Kitty.
I'd only heard catty corner. It's catty corner across from the shop. You know what I mean? Diagonally across is catty corner.
Yeah, kitty corner.
It's also kitty corner. I didn't know that.
Well, it's weird either way.
Yeah,
it's a weird.
It is kind of a weird saying.
Yeah, it confused me. It's always confused me. What do you mean kitty corner?
What do you mean kitty corner? No, catty corner.
No.
And cattywampus.
Cattywampus?
So if you're parked, inappropriately, if you're parked poorly, like, wow, that was an inappropriate park job over there, buddy.
Like all the doors are open.
Hey, please, I'm walking with my kids here. Can you please park appropriately?
All the windows down. You can see all the trash in your car.
So if you park across multiple parking spaces, you could say that you're parked cattywampus.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of, you didn't do a good job of fitting something into a certain space.
Exactly.
Or like supposed to fit
those people that go the wrong way down a one-way aisle, right? And then they try to fit into a spot by doing a half U-turn.
Can you stop hitting the cord?
I didn't
every time we record, it's been the same thing with you.
Okay.
It's been the same request. I don't even know. I don't know how you don't know.
Because I don't hear it.
Oh, that makes sense.
I don't even notice that I'm
touching
touching
the only one wearing headphones because you chose not to wear headphones.
You keep complaining about it. I'm not sure it's going to help, but
okay, perfect. So Mike and I went to Las Vegas and we decided to do a coffee crawl. And then we found out you can't call it a coffee crawl because there's no alcohol involved. So we called it a coffee
run,
a coffee walk, a coffee sprint, a coffee-thon.
A coffee jog. Not quite running, not quite walking.
Right. Kind of a halfway in between.
High knees.
Knees to chest, buddy. I slowed down for you in the stop walk. I expect some hustle.
Let's go.
Stop. Did I say stop walk or crosswalk?
You said walk cross.
Oh, walk cross. Perfect. So we pulled into Vegas
So we're sitting there.
So there we were in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we picked up my bro.
I'm not a gambler. He's not a gambler.
But here we are in Las Vegas, sitting at the blackjack table. Should we tell that story or no?
What story?
The Ricky story.
Ricky story?
We should, no, maybe not. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, whatever. So the towel story? No.
Towel story.
Okay, never mind. So we get into Las Vegas.
The
we pick up my
window in the shower story? Which story?
The window in the shower. So we decide to start hitting up some coffee shops. This was Saturday afternoon, kind of midday.
Yeah, we got there around noon 30.
Around noon 30. And so we decided to start hitting up some coffee shops. And the first one that we went to, because it was just closer to my bro's house and traffic was better to get to it, was called Sunshine. Sunrise. It was called Sunrise Coffee.
This is going to be great. We're going to have the story according to Jake and then the truth according
the truth according to Mike.
That was
ooh, I love that. The truth according to Mike. That's going to be one of those pictographs to advertise on Facebook for this show. For this episode.
Make sure it's right.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to just give you some props.
Context?
No. I was gonna praise you. I made fun of you in the.
Well, hold on. Let's stop
let's
right
just
there.
Power through this. Let's just hurry up. You had printed out a map of coffee shops in Vegas.
Who prints out maps?
Drawn on it, made notes.
Yeah.
Made little circles, times. You had the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it came in handy. It was handy.
It was handy.
Yeah. It kept us. It was nice being able to see. Okay, this one's how far away they were.
Where is it in relation to where we are?
Yeah. So good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
I think we lost it at first, though, and then you found it.
No, it was in the glove box the whole time.
It was in the whole
the whole time.
That's where we found it.
It was in the glove box.
So
it's also where we lost it.
So where did I put that?
It was in the glove box.
Oh, I took a picture of it on my phone. Good.
Oh, perfect. So we go to Sunrise.
We go to Sunrise.
And Sunrise was not a conventional second wave. It was kind of a wave 2.5, wasn't it? Because it had multi-flavored lattes and things like that, a wide variety of different, lattes that you can have, special flavors. I keep saying flavors, but I can't think of
syrups.
Oh, I can think of. Oh,
what are you trying to say?
I'll just grab it. I'll just grab the menu real quick.
Yeah,
because I took a picture of it.
Did you draw? Oh, I thought you drew it.
I drew it. I drew a picture. I printed it out and I drew all over it. So they had, the white mocha pistachio latte, the amaretto latte, rose pistachio latte, caramel apple latte, chai cider, Italian amaretto almond cream soda, pistachio matcha latte, super green smoothie, chai cider frappe. So they had a lot of different specialty drinks.
Yeah, not just
and that's what they focused on.
Mocha.
When you walk in, top left corner is latte. And they break it down for you. Small, medium, large, espresso, and milk. Hot or iced. Whatever you want, we can do it. Then it goes drip coffee, then pour over coffee. So it's kind of an afterthought. But it was 12 ounces for $3. I thought that was pretty good. Especially when you think that, drip coffee, their 12-ounce drip was $2.15. Their batch brew. And you can add a shot or add syrup to it for whatever price it is. But the pour over is $3. I thought I think that's a reasonable price for a pour over.
Yeah.
Because a lot of places they charge $4.50 to $5.
Yeah. What was the batch brew price? Did it
$2.15 for the same size.
So for 45 cents more.
Yeah. No, that's 85 cents more.
Yeah, that's if we were paying in time.
Right.
That would
perfect.
be 60.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, nailed it.
So then they had these tea lattes, loose leaf tea. They have the basics. So espresso-based drinks were kind of second, then cold brew, caffeine-free, and frappes. And it was very cool. My bro, what did he get? He got something that was
truffle
called...
berry.
Yeah, he got the truffle berry. That's right. He got an iced truffle berry drink, and it came in a glass can-shaped, or as a can-shaped glass with Sunrise coffee on it, and it was cool. The presentation of the drink was very cool. They had kind of chocolate down the insides of it.
Yeah.
So it offered
drizzled syrup first.
They drizzled syrup first, then they loaded it with the drink.
Yeah.
And it gave a very unique and a very cool appearance.
It was like 3 different types of chocolates.
Yeah.
Darker chocolates.
Yeah.
And a berry.
And a raspberry of some sort.
Right.
And a truffle berry of some sort.
Yeah.
And then
it was pretty.
It was very cool. And
the
the people that the customer service we received was decent, was okay.
Yeah, it was engaging and friendly.
Engaging, friendly.
You got upsold pretty hard.
I got upsold pretty hard, so I bought a mug. I asked about a mug, and the barista or the lady taking our order, she says it's her first day, right? Or it was her first day Wednesday or something.
Yeah.
She was new to the Sunrise family. Day one. And she asked how many mugs I wanted. And I look at Mike and I say, Mike, hey, Mike, do you want one of these mugs? And he said, no. Quit trying to buy me stuff, you weirdo. I don't even know you. Get out of here. And so I say, just one, please.
Nice.
And then she takes 2 mugs, wraps them up, puts them inside a bag, and sells them to me.
And here we are.
And here we are. So I tried to give Mike a mug, and he said, look, I appreciate the bromance, but why don't you take that mug home to your wife? Quit trying to buy me things, you weirdo.
You have a wife.
You have a wife, you know.
And you were brilliant.
Brilliant.
That was brilliant.
It was brilliant. That's what I did.
Did you like the mug? Have you used it?
Yeah, she loved it. She loves the color, the design, the feel, the shape.
It's a cool mug.
I like it. I think it's a 12-ounce mug, and I like the feel of it. I got to be honest with you. I wonder, did we find it?
It's a wide mug, but yet it's easy to hold.
Yeah.
It's got a good handle.
Yeah, that's like the batch brew mug. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. We'll see.
It's a good mug.
It's a good mug. I think it's a top contender right away. It was dark gray with black on it. It was very cool. I like the look. I like the feel. I like drinking it. So we had some cortados there, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
No single origin espresso. What else did we have? Did we have mochas or just cortados?
Just the cortado.
Just the cortado. And it was a good cortado. It was very good. But while we're sitting there at Sunrise, we were talking with them that we're on this coffee tour of Las Vegas. And they asked where we're going next. And I said, Mothership. And they said, oh, well, Mothership is related to Sunrise. Yeah. They're sister cafes.
Their coffee comes from
and their coffee comes from Mothership. Yep.
It's all roasted.
It's right down the road. And the barista says, I actually work there as well, right? Mm-hmm. She said she works there as well. So we went from Sunrise just down the street to Mothership. And Mothership, to me, had the best coffee in Las Vegas that I tried.
The best.
So Mothership was it.
Yeah.
Mothership was my shop. That was the shop I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah, you got a little excited at Mothership.
More than a little excited.
Yeah, you were running around.
I was out of control. Mothership is what I want to do, except there's an exception here. There's an exception. And I don't know if you noticed it or not. Sunrise was busier than Mothership.
Oh, yes.
I think Sunrise makes more money than Mothership.
But Mothership was steady.
It was steady.
There were people in and out
surprisingly
the whole time.
steady.
A couple people at the table. It wasn't by
coming
no means
in for
dead.
Small portions of coffee.
Yeah. Whole crew of firefighters. An engine came in. Yeah,
an engine came in. A fire engine came in. Just the crew, not the full. Truck.
There was no drive up.
There was no drive up. But they came in and they walked out with great coffee. Mm-hmm. With great coffee.
What was unique about Mothership? Something that we have not found anywhere else.
They only had single origin on espresso. Mm-hmm. They had 2 grinders, and they were both single origin coffees.
I want to say that's
no blend.
All they had, period.
No blends.
I don't think there was blends.
There were no blends. We don't do blends.
Not currently.
Don't do any blends.
Did you ask them if that's just their model or just at that moment?
It was nowhere on the menu.
Yeah.
I didn't ask them if that was what they do.
Maybe they just didn't have one going at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was interesting. They had 2 hoppers, 2 EKs or something like that.
Yeah.
And both with a different espresso.
Yeah. And they
single origin.
They had 6 single origin coffees available. 2 of them were on espresso, but you could get all of them on pour over.
And then, so we're getting ready to order, right? We're standing in line. Mm-hmm. You're pumped up. You're ready to order the whole menu.
Yeah.
And on the back counter is a clear glass, full of some brown liquid.
Yeah.
And it looks like it was just brewed on the V60 or the Kalita something. I don't remember.
It was the V60.
And instead of sticking to the menu, you say, "Hey, what's that?
What are you doing there?
What are you doing there? What's going on, bro?
What's going on, bro?" And he said, "Oh, I just made a little sample." And he slid it on over to me.
You want to try it?
The service was fantastic.
It was.
But it was different. They were like subdued, sophisticated. This is highfalutin coffee. You know what I mean? There was just a total different vibe.
But there wasn't any arrogance.
There was no arrogance.
Yeah,
and the
2
baristas were great. They were fantastic.
Yeah.
But they weren't
the energy.
Yeah, they weren't like bubbly, like,
controlled.
hey, welcome to Mothership. What, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm wondering, can you combine the bubbly energy with the super highfalutin coffee?
Well, what's the mark of a good DJ, as I've heard you say?
I don't know. He plays what you want.
You just said it to the man at the gas station. You don't remember anything, do you?
No, I don't remember.
He reads the crowd.
Oh, he reads the crowd. That's right.
I think a mark of any good customer service representative is they read. You go where your customer wants. If they come in, you see their high energy, go with it, match it. Doesn't mean you can't set that tone, but if you see right away that they're not feeling your high energy, don't keep going with it, because then it just becomes annoying.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, you can have both if the crowd wants both.
I loved the menu. The menu was wooden boards on the wall.
It was cool.
Right, little pal.
Easy to read. Simple.
Espresso, macchiato, cappuccino, latte, drip daily. I think that's
daily.
On brew, a batch brew. Manual, nitro brew, and mocha. And the manual and the nitro, they was market price. They didn't have a number written, which I'd prefer to have a number there, but I understand why they go market price, because certain coffees cost more to get into the shop than others. And then I think based on which coffee you choose, that's the cost that you pay. So some of them are a little more expensive than others.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you choose the Kenyan, and the Kenyans,
Yeah. But they would make a cortado for us. It's just not on the menu, not on the big menu. I think it might be on the smaller menu. No, it's not on the smaller menu. Did they make a cortado for us? I thought they did.
Yeah, they did.
Because we had
two.
There's espresso, macchiato, cappuccino, latte, drip, single origin, nitro cold brew with hops, and then Americano.
I want to say they would, but we didn't. We hit the espresso. Remember, we were so excited.
That's right. We had single
we tried
origin
both.
espresso. That's right. We had both.
Because they had Guatemalan.
Yeah,
and
Ethiopian. They had a naturally processed Ethiopian Yirgacheffe, I want to say. That's what that was. Lighter body, subtle notes of dark cherry and orange. Or was it the Ethiopia Guji Shakiso?
I think that was the one.
Yeah, it was the Guji.
The Guji. I think
they're both naturally processed. And then the Guatemala Cafe Femenino. It was washed, mild in body, low in acidity, notes of milk chocolate, and a clean finish. It was great. Both of them were great.
Yeah, we got the Guatemalan first, which one of the things we were considering or contemplating is, okay, which one do they use as a base for their mixed drinks?
And it was the Guatemalan.
Generally, that's what the blend is, the go-to for.
Yeah.
And they use the Guatemalan, which I would choose too. Now, it was interesting having your brother along who enjoys coffee, but is not heavily into specialty coffee.
He bought a nitro.
He got the nitro.
And was totally shocked when it showed up as a cold drink in a glass.
Yeah, he didn't expect that.
He didn't expect that.
Because he's never had it.
Because he's never had it.
Yeah, so he thought, and rightfully so, because he asked me, and I said, oh, it's just infused with nitrogen, but I never said cold.
And you didn't.
So he's like, oh, that might be interesting.
What kind of jerk are you?
A hot drink infused with nitrogen.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't know.
I've never seen that. So anyway, he thought it was good, I think. He enjoyed it. But then we tried the espresso. He tried the espresso. I think he enjoyed the Guatemalan. I think that seemed pretty good. Yeah. And then we got to the Ethiopian, and that was dramatically different.
Yeah.
And he did not like that.
No, he did not like that.
We did.
We loved it.
We enjoyed that.
But it wasn't blueberries to the face.
No, but the acidity was high.
Yeah.
And it had that maltiness, and he said it reminded him of like an IPA.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't like.
He made a lot of alcohol connotation or like connections.
Reminds me of this alcohol.
Reminds me of this beer, this beer, this beer, this beer. That's how he understood his coffee, was in light of how his beers are.
Yeah, what he likes and doesn't like.
What he likes and doesn't like, yeah.
Kind of just maybe in reference to which part of the palate it's hitting.
Yeah, I think
Not so much the flavor, but, that's sour, that's bitter, yeah.
So Mothership also had very cool, natural sugar cubes. Sugar in the raw cubes. Everything that they did, I just thought was really very cool. Could be a little bit better, but I really liked what they did. They had a bourbon vanilla. That's what they called their lattes or whatever, their sweet and seasonal beverages. They had a maple cardamom. They had mochas. They had lavender bitters, orange mochas, and matcha lattes. And then they also provided you with hot chocolate. And they had Assam black, green jasmine, chamomile, and matcha tea. And we had the mochas.
Yeah, then you got mochas. Yeah,
I got mochas for us. But Jeremy didn't like the mocha. What did you think of it? Something about the mocha just wasn't...
Well, the mocha was interesting, right? Because we were drawn to it. They're like, hey, we used the Guatemalan. And then for our chocolate, it was a ganache, right? That was made locally.
It was a ganache from which is like a local chocolatier.
What I felt, if we ever did it, that's what we're going to try and do.
That's what we want.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
You're partnering, got something special. Maybe it tastes a little richer.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy it. I didn't think it was my best. I still think Press was better.
I thought everything but Kyle's mocha from Press.
Yeah, let's qualify that.
Every mocha from Press except for Kyle's.
Except for Kyle's.
Who killed it. Who killed the moment, who killed the mocha,
he did kill it. You said kill it as a good thing too much.
Okay, well, he really
ruined it.
He ruined the moment.
Ruined it.
And he ruined the mocha.
Yeah, that wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But as a whole, it wasn't as good as Press. I don't know. It was, because they said it's a darker chocolate. But I didn't get that. I still kind of got the milky.
Yeah.
And so maybe I was set up for something and then...
Maybe. I almost wanted to try the orange mocha. As soon as I took a sip of that one, I was like, let me try the orange mocha now.
Yeah. I think there's something to be discussed there for a brief moment. And that is when giving someone a drink, especially introducing someone to specialty coffee, I find it better to not say anything. Just, here, try this. I think too often... If you're introducing, if we were to serve the King Cup and say, hey, you're going to get some citrus tones, you're going to get some peach or you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You kind of send them in the wrong direction mentally, especially if they've never experienced specialty coffee. They're not going to really know what you mean when you say that.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be the whole time thinking they're going to be drinking a cup of, peach juice, and that's not the case. So I think it's better just give it to them, let them experience it, right?
Yeah.
And then say, what are you getting? What do you think? What do you like? And then afterwards, you can say, exactly, this is some of the... And then hopefully they make the connections. You know what I mean? Sometimes, it's just like a movie. You hype it up too much, you go and see it. It's just, that's not...
It fails you.
Yeah. Let me experience it.
The other thing that I really liked about them is they recommended other coffee shops in Vegas. Another coffee shop who they thought was doing a good job.
Yeah.
Because we told them kind of what we were doing, and they said...
You did. You never left the counter. Your brother and I were sitting. We went and sat down like normal customers.
Why do you have to jerk mode me?
No, it's not.
Why do you have to jerk mode it?
Because we have to paint the visual picture. Jake was just all around the counter looking at the pastries back around the front.
Hey, what are you guys doing over there? Hey, what is that?
The sample that you got when we first walked in was not your only sample.
No, it was not my only
You went
sample.
back and stole another drink.
Yeah, it was the dude had made himself a little coffee.
He keeps taking his coffee.
And he slid it
there?
over to me. He said, try this. So I drank it. And then as I was trying to leave, the guy was like, hey, you want to try the hops? The nitro with the hops? And I was like, oh, all right, I'll try it. So I tried the nitro with the hops. I didn't like it, but I was happy to try it.
Could you taste the hops?
Yeah, it was hoppy.
Hops? I think hops are good, but they have to be just enough.
Well,
right balance.
I'm sure it was a good balance, but I just don't like it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
you tried it all.
So they recommended Vesta Coffee to us.
Yeah.
When we left, they said, you got to go check this place out. They're doing good work as well. But we didn't go straight to Vesta.
The next day
we went to Makers and Finders, which was on the map.
Yeah, we found it.
Which was on the map. And this was
in the worst. In the arts district.
And this
downtown.
Was the worst experience we had.
Kind of downtown, I guess.
It had a huge convoluted menu. The same barista from Sunrise was there.
That was a trip.
And she had a different persona.
Yeah. Different vibe.
Like at Sunrise. Now, I want to qualify by saying it was a different time of day, but Sunrise is kind of this bubbly energy, soccer mom, lots of different lattes. Yeah. You can come have your Mary Kay meeting here, very energetic.
Do some work. Plenty of places.
Hey, love to have you sit. Yeah, very chill. Typical kind of coffee shop with the type of music was going with better coffee.
Yeah.
And then Makers and Finders was very artsy, it had a Cuban vibe to it.
Like
I think it was
eclectic
Cuban.
infusion.
Yeah.
You have industrial, Cuban.
But kind of snooty.
It was.
Now, our waiter, what was his name? Ricky? Bobby?
You want to call everyone Ricky.
Ricky Bobby.
Everyone.
I don't know
Ricky.
what it was. Johnny. It was Johnny.
Another E.
Johnny was good to go. But he wasn't going to hustle nowhere.
He was genuine.
He was genuine, but he wasn't bouncing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He wasn't trying to impress.
Right.
He was just being him.
Which
was enough.
And he was cool, and he'd talk to you about the menu, but he wasn't like going to sit down and ask you when your birthday is or what are you guys in town for? And, oh, that's great. You know what I mean?
Is that what you would do?
Maybe.
Hey, what room number are you?
what room number are you guys in? But it was the worst.
Yeah, so we walk up.
It was the worst coffee experience.
And, I understand spaces sometimes dictate the flow. But I find, and that's okay. Sometimes we were talking about this. I'm gonna to my own detriment.
Yeah.
Sometimes coffee shops or spaces have quirks.
No, not corks unless they're selling wine. It's quirks.
Well, this place was. So it had both.
They
have weird, unique features that sometimes is like, oh, this place has this, but it's cool.
This place, you open the door, you step in, there's room for like one person to stand in line at the table.
At the hostess table
to get seated.
Which it's nice to have a hostess.
Yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, you can't even make it in the door.
But the hostess is content to look at you until you say something.
She stands there. But the worst part, I found
what the hell do you want?
We're not only trying to get in just to sit down, there's a patio that they bring food out to and drinks through the same door.
Yeah.
So they're carrying the trays
in and out.
And you're trying to get in. Yeah. They're trying to get out.
Yeah.
The hostess is just trying to look at FB.
And we're trying to get a cup of coffee. Yeah. Should we go to the bar? Should we not? Should we get it to go? What do we do here?
Yeah.
Because the name of the shop is Makers and Finders Coffee.
Exactly. But coffee, when you get there, almost seems to be
a secondary, an afterthought.
Yeah. It's like, let's just call it that. Let's just call it that. So that's a quirk.
So not only was the menu convoluted, but you really had no idea what you were getting. Like a cortadito. It was a little different. They're cortados they make with condensed milk.
Yes.
And so it's 50-50 condensed milk, 2 espresso shots, light foam. All right. I was like, okay. And then that was $5.
Well, that's after we sat down.
And I
finally figured out.
Oh, yeah. We finally.
She's like, oh, you can sit down if you just want.
Well, I asked her. I said, we just want coffee. And she's like, and she thought about it. I think she looked around. She looked at her little like seating chart, and she's like, "Okay, you guys can sit." Yeah. I'm like, "Oh, perfect."
But see, I was thinking the whole time you have a hostess, so if you have an awkward entrance, you can make it work with a hostess, or
make it not
a greeter. Well, they could say, "Hi, what do you want to do?" Like quickly get you where you need to be, so you're not standing there awkwardly.
Okay, what about if you got a hostess, but they're not getting you quickly to where you need to be and making it awkward?
Then them and the podium they're standing is just
in the way.
Taking up room.
Should have been elsewhere. Should have been on the other
seats.
side.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So my cortadito was tiny. It was absolutely
tiny. One shot.
It was like a single
instead
shot.
Of 2 shots.
It was like 3 ounces of beverage.
Is it a little? What did it come in? It came in like a little
tiny little,
almost like a makeup jar.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird type of glass.
Yeah,
it was like a ball jar, but only like a half an inch tall or an inch tall.
Tiny mason jar.
Yeah, tiny mason jar, something like that.
You could screw on a lid.
You could screw on a lid.
Yeah, it had the little rings around it.
And then I had a shot of green tea matcha, a shot of matcha. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I had a shot of matcha. And that was in a shot glass, but like a glass.
You asked Johnny first. Johnny, what is this? He's like, oh, it's just super concentrated.
And so I drank it, and I love matcha. If you listen long, you know that. This should not be served to anyone at any time. Period.
You just killed it.
I did. I killed it. It's a shot glass.
You don't. You just quaff things quickly.
Slam it.
And I think you had like that little burp, like that little no. Why?
Yeah, like this might be coming back.
It's just because we can do it doesn't mean we should be, right?
They're like, the stomach wanted to get a return on its money. It was like, I'm going to return this one. Here's my receipt. Take this back. Blah.
I got the regular cortado, and your brother got something else. I don't remember.
And their cortados had condensed milk. I don't remember what.
It was 2 shots.
My bro got, yeah. He got a mimosa.
Yeah.
He got like a pomegranate mimosa or something.
That's what he got.
And it was expensive, but
every drink came in its own glass, which thought the part was cool.
Nice. Yes.
But then some of the glasses,
a distinct glass,
were weird. Mine was a weird, I don't even know what it was, like a Y-shaped glass in a holder, right? It had the metal holder. It was kind
of like a Gibraltar glass, similar to that.
Similar,
like
smooth,
a tulip,
though, round,
smooth tulip shape, kind of.
There you go.
And it had a glass handle or a metal handle.
Wire handle.
Yeah, so you didn't have to touch the glass; you could touch the handle, but it would come out. The glass could come out of the handle.
It could tumble right out if you weren't careful.
Just tumble right out of that.
And then your brother's was in like a larger but yet not full-size mason jar.
Something along those lines.
Like that, yeah. A fruit canning jar.
Yeah.
Which you can drink from those, but I find sometimes you dribble. You dribble a little bit.
Here's the thing. When drinking from a mason jar or a ball jar or whatever you want to call it.
Similar fashion.
If it has the threads for the lid on the top, you have to turn it. You got to twist it to where there's no thread.
Well, you don't hit two of them.
Yes, or just where there's none. There's going to be a spot on there where there's no thread.
Yeah,
there's a single thread and a two thread.
Yeah,
you want to stay away from the two threads.
Yeah,
because if you drink on the two threads, it's coming out.
Wear a bib.
It's on your shirt. It's happening. It's happening.
Unless you wrap your mouth around the whole thing,
right? Which that's awkward for a date, maybe. But here we are.
No, that's not okay. Well, I guess if that works for you.
Oh, look at that!
Look at that! Isn't everybody drink it this way? No, sir.
Everybody's got their quirks.
Do you want a straw? Well, that'd be great. That'd be. That's what we do at Makers and Finders.
So we left Makers and Finders.
I have to go into the bathroom, which was another weird trip. It was like all the way in the back, down the alley.
Yeah, you had to go out. It reminded me of the bathroom down at in Phoenix. Remember the place that left your coffee sitting on the counter, made you come get it?
Cartel? Yeah.
Cartel in Scottsdale. You had to go out the door, down the hall, through a couple different doors to get to like a community bathroom area.
Yeah.
And that was the same thing at Makers and Finders. You had to go out the back door.
Very awkward.
Through a hallway into a bathroom.
Felt like you were peeing in the back alley.
And it was a back alley.
There was graffiti and stuff.
It was an alley that they kind of shared with the brewery next door.
Yeah. It was all tagged up.
I think is what it was.
Yeah, it didn't have any class to it to me.
Well, it wasn't as tagged up as some bathrooms I've been in.
Well, I know.
It was all right. I mean,
but the mirror just had writing all over it. But I think they're okay with that. They're like, this is part of the vibe. Cool. This is cool. This is proof that people live here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were like, we can't end on this.
No, we can't end on this.
We can't end the day this way.
We can't end the day this way. This is terrible.
So we
look up Vesta, which was not on the list.
No, but that was recommended.
But it was recommended by the Mothership guys.
See, what happened is we forgot what the recommendation was, right? We couldn't figure it out.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
And then Yelp was like, hey, we see you're down this area.
Yelp
How about trying Vesta for your brunch? And we're like,
because I remembered
That's it. Vesta.
I remembered a VE. I remembered a VE.
Variable.
I called it
vegetable.
Vera, Veta, Vina, Venus. I was searching all kinds of different names. I could not find Vesta. And then Yelp recommended Vesta. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
That's the one.
Perfect. So we decided to walk.
It was actually within walking distance.
Yeah, it wasn't very far, and I didn't want to have to try and repark. There's a lot of construction. And
so we walked.
Well, some of us walked.
We walked.
Some of us walked
through an alley.
Somebody else was challenged to a foot race and took off. Jake took off running. And drew some attention. People weren't sure if something was happening.
What the heck is that?
Staring at him,
what
staring
is
at
wrong
us.
with that boy?
Yeah. We just said, hey, his medicine hasn't kicked in yet. Don't worry about it. So we made it to Vesta.
As we approached Vesta from the outside in the alley, they had coffee bushes painted.
Yeah, they had artwork on their building.
Huge.
It was cool.
It was a huge coffee bushes with
like a mural.
A mural. Mural. It was huge and it was beautiful.
It was done very
really
well.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
You come around the corner and then you're like, oh, it's right here.
Yeah, if you're not running, you have time to see it.
Correct. So I had time to see it as well.
On the way back.
I had to walk back.
Yeah, it was very nice. And then we walk in.
And
And we're there.
There was a gentleman who was very friendly. He wanted to talk coffee. He had, the dude with the hat.
Yeah, we started talking with your brother.
Yeah,
your brother said, "Oh, they're snobs. I'm just along for the ride."
Yeah, and he was like, "Perfect. We love snobs.
We'll take it all."
So their menu was pretty good as well. But they have two menus. One is for the menu of what we have, and then the other is the
what
coffee,
we don't have.
The coffee, or you know what I mean, for like the pour overs and things like that. So
they had a nice.
He stepped aside. And a lady came.
It's like a shift change was happening.
It was like a shift change where somebody was just coming on. It looked like she was just coming on. And it really looked like she didn't want to be there. That's the vibe I got from talking with her. Like, we were having a great conversation with dude, and then dude kind of slid out, and she jumped in, and it was like, oh, well, this isn't fun anymore.
And I agree with you. However, I don't think it was her fault. I'm going to come out.
You don't think it was her fault that she had to show up to work, or... You don't think it was her fault?
I don't think you ever excuse, kind of that off-put attitude.
Yeah.
But if you start an interaction with the customer, I don't care if it's time to go or check out.
Finish it.
You don't
finish it. You don't hand that off.
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't even say anything.
Yeah,
he said, "Oh, okay, I'm going to take off. Jenny here is going to go ahead and take care of you guys."
He didn't say anything like
Any
that.
questions? She's the gal. She's going to take. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then she knows. Okay, he's cueing me. And
he didn't pass
even if you don't want to be there,
he didn't pass the baton.
It was this moment, and then I think because of that awkwardness, we're standing there. The third barista, right, who's actually was
actually making the drinks
on the espresso. Yeah, she quickly, I think, tried to
engage,
throw something in there. Now it's all making sense, right?
She was good.
She saw Jake and I.
She saw it get awkward, and she wanted to rescue it.
She saw that we had shirts of a certain design, the shirts that we frequent, that Jake has made. And she's like, "Oh, those are cool shirts. Where do you, and tried to engage the conversation. And so we chatted about that. And
she didn't realize that bringing up the shirts was just another, defeating.
No, people like the shirts.
Mark of my failures. And I really didn't want to talk about my shirt failures.
I have clothing to wear. How is that a failure? Your family has clothing to wear for the rest of their life. How is that a failure?
That's true. That's true. They'll never run out of T-shirts.
So that was an awkward moment. I did interact with her again later.
She was good to go.
She was fine. I think it was just like, I'm not quite here yet. Why are you? I'm just putting on my apron. I'm putting my purse under the counter. And now I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Some people,
not even clocked in yet.
Some people aren't ready to perform.
Maybe she wasn't clocked in yet. Especially because
that's the vibe I got.
She was sitting at the bar with her boyfriend or somebody hanging out.
And she might be the main cashier, right?
Who knows?
And so the boys slide, "Oh, you're back. Here you go." I'm uncomfortable.
It was awkward. Yeah, she couldn't have been. Maybe she wasn't frustrated with us. Maybe she was frustrated with this dude. Like, he always does this.
That's what I got.
He slides out. I'm not even clocked in yet.
Just take their order. You're almost done.
Just finish helping these people. What's wrong with you?
But they didn't dwell on it. It was a moment, and then...
It wasn't awkward.
Like,
this awkward moment. So anyways.
Jake made it more awkward.
And I made it more awkward.
By refusing to respond to the T-shirt question.
By drawing attention to everything.
And so I'm like...
way to save it, Bubba. Way to save it.
I don't know what I said.
So they had coffee, they had lattes and things like that. They had teas, they had waters, of course, and then they had toast.
Excuse me.
They called it tartine toast, sandos, pastry, and soup salad parfait. Those were kind of the menu items there.
The other thing they had that was pretty sweet was a rack of products, right, for sale. They had grinders, brewers. They had the Kalita, the V60.
They did, yeah.
And
they have the Clever?
The Clever.
Thought that
it was cool. It was a nice. If we were to pick, I think that's kind of what we would go with.
Not quite. They didn't nail it. They didn't nail the retail display.
Maybe not the display, but the items they had were good to go.
Were good items.
Basic, good stuff.
And they had a roaster. They had a nice roast setup. They had a hookey.
And they had the hookey.
And they had the hookey, and they could intelligently talk about it. We asked dude, he's like, "Oh, we use that to sample roast." That's what the guy, the one who started, that's what he started on.
That was cool.
He fulfilled orders on the hookey.
Was it a Probat?
It was a Probat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice.
It was like a 15 kilo.
It was my favorite space.
It was a great space.
It was, it wasn't huge, but it was designed well enough. You can get in the door. There's some tables. The bar was out of the way.
I had a cortado, and they brought it over in a dark glass.
A dark glass?
Yeah, the glass was dark. It was
so
almost
you couldn't
black.
see what was at the bottom?
It was cool.
Like an old school Capri Sun?
It was different than the other cortado glasses, the Libby Gibraltar glasses.
Yeah, it was different.
But it was a similar shape, but it was dark. It was very cool. And then Mikey got a pour over.
Yeah, I wanted to try the pour over.
Pour over took a little while. It was expensive too. It was $6.50.
What?
Yeah, for the pour over. That's the most expensive pour over I think we've ever had.
Good thing I didn't pay.
And it was, but what they did was, I think is similar to press. I think they have a 16-ounce recipe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 16 ounces of coffee. And if you get it for here, they're just going to grab however many random glasses they need to fit all the liquid inside.
That's how, well, when you came over with it.
So they're going to brew it into, one serving vessel. And then they just start filling glasses up from that serving vessel. And however many glasses it takes to fill up, that's what we're going to do.
Well, you brought it over, and you're like, here's your pour over.
I did.
I was confused because I didn't know if you changed or you got one too. And you're like, no, it's two.
This is it.
2 cups. And so much so I went back and just curious, why do I have 2 cups?
It's like a milkshake.
And then the girl that was a little awkward, standoffish at first, she was very nice. She's like, oh, well, our recipe's, blah, blah, blah. And think of it like a milkshake. Yeah, not all of it fits, but we're going to give it to you in the
side car.
I think it would have been more enjoyable is give me the serving vessel. Let me pour more.
Yeah.
Like here you go.
That would have been cool.
And then I could top off myself.
That kind of brings me into our last shop if you're ready to move on from Vesta.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it was good. Coffee was good.
We did the next day we did one more shop.
On the way out of town.
And we're going to get into this one a little bit longer, but they served our espresso the best way that I've ever had it served before.
Mm-hmm.
What they did was they brought it out on like a raised cutting board. It was like a bamboo cutting board that was raised up like a square, but it wasn't a tray because it didn't have a lip on it.
Yeah.
But they brought out the espresso in a mug, in a little demitasse with a glass with Demetrius, a glass of sparkling water, a little spoon, and a Hershey Kiss on it.
And a kiss.
It was very cool. If they would have brought out your coffee with the serving vessel and a little, I don't know, maybe a little flour inside a little
piece of chocolate.
Little piece of chocolate.
For $6 they should have.
And a glass for you or a mug for you to serve it in. $6.50. They bring it out like that.
Yeah.
That's different.
That's cool.
That's different.
Yeah, it would have made an impression.
It would have left an impression.
It might have been my favorite if they would have done that.
That was the coolest way that I've ever had my espresso served to me.
Yeah, it was nice. It's unexpected too.
Yeah, totally unexpected.
Shop,
it's called Bat Owl.
Bat Owl.
And it's supposed to be a Harry Potter theme.
Yeah.
And it was sort of.
So let me take over for a moment here. You're a Harry Potter fan, right? You like that?
Well, I don't know if I would consider myself a Harry Potter fanboy.
You're knowledgeable of the Harry Potter
franchise, books,
trilogy,
movies,
or quadrilogy.
I've read all the books.
Septilogy.
I've watched all the movies. I'm familiar with it.
So
yes,
that's what I mean when I say fan. You're knowledgeable of it. You walk in.
Okay.
I'm not. I've seen the movies, but I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't have picked up on it. Honestly, I don't think I. Maybe
you would not have noticed unless I told you.
I mean, there's a few things. Eventually, I would have, but not. It's not like hit you in the face.
Yeah.
So you have a preconceived notion, an expectation, right? Going to the shop.
I had an expectation.
You walk in.
My expectation is it was going to be kind of a fanboy shop where I could buy Harry Potter paraphernalia, items, wands, books, shirts, in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, fan shop. The ultimate fan shop.
I was expecting the ultimate
coffee.
Yeah, I was expecting the ultimate coffee fan shop.
Okay. We walk in, and what was your impression?
Disappointment.
A little bit?
Well, my first impression was from the outside is, this place isn't open. Because the lights were so dim.
Yeah, we thought we drove the wrong way.
We thought
slightly out of the way.
We thought we drove out of the way for a closed shop. And then I checked the Googles, and I found out, no, it's still open. And so then we go to open it up, and I'm like, this place is open. But it looks closed from the outside.
The windows were tinted, and the lighting was a little dim.
From there, I see, there's a little retail stand over there. Maybe I can pick some stuff up. And I take a little look over, and it's like, there's nothing there. There's nothing for sale. It was disappointment. It was disappointment. My first response was disappointment.
Yeah. Now, I didn't even realize. You probably mentioned it to me. I think you did. But
I mentioned it.
I forgot all about it.
Several times, but you never listened to me.
No, I had no idea. I just thought.
It's not your fault.
So I didn't have any expectations. When I walked in, I thought it was a cool looking space.
It was. It did have a cool vibe.
They had the faux brick walls. They had, these neat tables. They had the Edison light bulbs. They had some track lighting with some spotlights.
Yeah.
Very moody. And you could tell there was like a semi-rustic, old world charm theme going on.
That was cool. Yeah.
And so I thought, hey, that's kind of neat. But
they should have just left it at that.
I think so. Then I went to the restroom and there was a puzzle poster of Harry Potter, a movie.
Yeah.
Right? Poster.
Yeah.
That was a puzzle that somebody put together and framed.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we're in the Harry Potter one.
We're in the Harry Potter one.
Got it.
So it took a little while. There were some signs outside the bathroom, but they were obviously kind of put together with different, Hogsmeade, Grimmauld Place, Hogwarts, Borgenenberg's, Diagon Alley, Flourish and Blotts, different types of, like, names of different places and stores and things inside Harry Potter. But it was like halfway inside Harry Potter world and halfway in Harry Potter fan world. Mm-hmm. And I think they'd be better served choosing one or the other.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that, which you did a better job than I did, Mike, articulating this, but I'll try and articulate it for the people listening, is this. You should either have a cafe that was plucked from Harry Potter's world, like this cafe could be in Diagon Alley.
Exactly.
And everything you see, you wouldn't have a Harry Potter poster on the wall.
No.
Because
that'd be weird.
It'd be weird. He's a character inside that world. Like everything inside there would speak to the world.
As if you were transported. Isn't there a Harry Potter world at one of the Disneys?
Universal
Probably
Studios
like you're going there.
Yeah.
Like you're in that world.
That's what
you're in his house.
Yeah. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
As opposed
and you could call it the Bad Owl, and it would fit.
It would fit.
It would totally
be awesome.
fit. And I mean, it's not like they didn't put money into what they were doing.
No.
Like the Bad Owl logo and everything is
lit
cool
up
and it's nice. They had a lot of cool stuff in there.
They sure did. I agree with you. And I think that would be the better option for two reasons. Well, I guess one main reason is I think it would appeal to people like me. I mean, we know what Harry Potter is. Maybe we like it, maybe we don't. But you're just going there and you have an experience like you're going to a different place.
Yeah.
Maybe you pick up on it.
A different world.
Yeah. Either way, it's a cool theme. It's comfortable. It's relaxing. The lighting could be better, but I don't have to get into that. Yeah. And then as a Harry Potter, fan, if you're someone that enjoys that, you would enjoy it even more so.
Right.
I think if you went the other route and made it like a memorabilia type shop, I wouldn't want to necessarily go get coffee in a shop that's just selling all Harry Potter stuff and Harry Potter this, Harry Potter posters. I think you would, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though a lot of people like it.
Yeah.
I think it's cooler. It's more of an experience if you just go with that other theme.
Immersive.
Exactly.
If you immerse yourself in the world.
Because they had some cool elements
the wizarding world
that really felt like it. You know, the bookshelf and stuff like that. But they didn't have any, like you pointed out, there's no wand sitting there.
And that's what there should have. I mean, they had like quotes from the table said, "Every day I'm muggling." It said
like a mashup.
Yeah. Wingardium or Espresso Leviosa, something along those. They had like different phrases and different things like that, kind of mixed with coffee and just cutesy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, but there was no commitment to it. It's either one way or the other. It's almost like somebody had some Harry Potter posters and said, well, let's just throw these up in your shop as well. And you say, okay, if we're going to throw the posters up, let's put a couple quotes on the tables. Let's throw a Dementor. Let's throw a Dementor up in the corner and call it a Harry Potter themed shop.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's just, they'd be better served sticking to one or the other, I think.
I would agree. I think it would have been awesome.
So that's kind of it for Bad Owl. And I don't want just because I think they should pick something and commit to it doesn't mean I didn't have a good time there. I really enjoyed it. The customer service was good. But just in closing, there was a new person working who made my mocha. And there was an experienced person working who made your coconut white mocha. And there was a noticeable difference between the two. And it's led me to a phrase. In banking, Mikey used to say, no teller before their time. No barista on bar. No bad barista on bar. That's what I say. No bad barista. No bad barista. That's not working. No bad baristas.
No bad.
It's just, there was a noticeable difference.
Yeah.
And it really was. I'm all in for people learning. They got to learn.
You got to.
But if I was grading just by the presentation of the drink and the coffee alone, I wouldn't be back.
Yeah. Well, I think when you have a visual feedback, I don't want to say representation, when you can see that the drink you just made is not quite right, you don't serve it. I know sometimes, and there's leeway. Everything can't be 100% perfect all the time.
Sure.
Sometimes you don't know what it tastes like, so you don't know. Yeah. You think, I think I did everything right. Here you go, but it doesn't taste right. You can't tell. You don't know that unless you're doing the straw trick, right? Pulling a little out and putting it on the tongue.
Yeah.
As they
or
do.
Putting it on the
little
ometer.
The refractometer.
Refractometer. Yeah. There you go. Ometer. I just say ometer.
But this one, clearly, it was maybe not so much in the shot, but the milk. It just died. Yeah. It just watered out the drink, and it had no texture, and it wasn't overly hot.
It got beat up.
Yeah.
It got beat up.
A couple of minutes into it, yours looked like a bubbly swamp.
Yeah.
And mine looked like a nice
mocha.
Frothy mocha.
It looked good.
Good, and it was good. So, so that's Bad Owl.
Yeah.
Lastly, that was our trip. We're home.
That was it.
We're home now. In the meantime, amongst all that, we have been provided this grinder by Handground.
Yeah. Mike is showing the grinder to the coffee. He's not describing it for you listening, but I will describe it for you listening. It is kind of metal top, bottom, grind handle on the side, and glass jar on the bottom. Nailed it.
There'll be pictures and video on the YouTube, so check it out if you're interested. Or look on the Instagram. I got some pretty good pictures that I'm proud of.
Yeah.
I don't know, some cool shots. This thing is very easy to look at and take pictures of. It's a pretty looking grinder.
It's very beautiful. Yeah.
So
it's a looker. It's a stunner, as it were.
Full disclosure, Jake and I have been looking for tools that are more accessible, cheaper, that can produce a better cup. Mm-hmm. What do we want to include in our welcome kit?
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
And so Handground is very popular, a lot of followers, a lot of feedback. And I reached out to him and said, hey, we'd love to review this. We're looking for the grinder to recommend. And they were gracious. They said, absolutely. So they sent it to us free of charge, and for us to do a test, a review, and give our opinion on it.
So
that's what we're going to do.
We're going to do that. We're going to get more in depth.
Exactly. But just initially, I'll give you a quick overview of the features. Some of the things that drew me and us to the Handground is it has a little collar here with numbers where you can select your grind setting. So it's steps. It's not stepless. But I think for someone new or people that don't want to fuss too much, you just know your number.
Yeah.
What's your sleep number?
Yeah. What's your sleep number? What's your grind number?
Yeah.
My grind number is 1,000. I'm always, my grind level is always 100.
I'm always hustling.
I'm always grinding.
So that was cool. The other thing is it can hold up to 100 grams, give or take on the bean size. The crank is on the side so it goes vertical up and down as opposed to a horizontal crank, which they say is a little more natural, a little easier to use. Place it on the counter. On the bottom, it's got like this sticky rubber pad that from time to time you have to clean to get it to restick. But it does help suction it a little to the countertop as you crank. It is so easy to crank that my 6-year-old was cranking through some pretty light beans. And so that's good. The bottom is a nice glass ground catcher container. And then on the side, they've got markings. They say roughly each line translates to 10 grams of coffee.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a scale, you don't want to mess with a scale, you can just say, oh, here's 20, 25, 30, whatever, and go from there. So those are some of the features. It's got a 40 millimeter conical ceramic burr. Its axle is mounted in 3 places to help prevent wobble. And that's it. That's pretty much it. So we will give it a good thorough review, test it, try it many different ways, and report back to you on what we think. Right now, I think it runs about $80.
Wow.
$80 for that. So it's a little more, we were just looking, right, than the Porlex, which is right around 65. And then you go down to the Hario, what was it? The one Hario was like 50. Hario's got a nice crank. But it's not Lido territory, right? $200 plus. So
yeah,
kind of falls in the middle of those. So that's the Handground.
Yeah.
And
exciting. It's beautiful, and I hope it ends up being as user friendly and as just as wonderful to use as it is to look at.
I agree because it
even if it's a little pricier,
it is a little bit more. I think $50 was what we were shooting for.
Yeah, I like 30.
You like 30?
Yeah, that's why we put it together and got the Handground 30 and 50.
Oh, gotcha. 40 is okay.
The Hario,
not quite 50.
The Hario mini mill or mini grind or whatever. The one I got is 30. 30. We can get those, wholesale for 20 or 15 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then you can sell them or put them in a kit or something like that. And it's just a lower price of entry to get in and start, having great coffee. But the grind has not been that great with the Hario, but I haven't spent a whole lot of time, so I haven't seasoned them yet. It takes a little while for the baristas to start getting going.
And that's my thing. At what threshold
do you want to come in at?
Is it worth it where you taste it in the cup? Because just to be pushing a cheap hand grinder, but you're not getting it.
Yeah.
The coffee, you're spending all this money on specialty coffee, roasting it, and then you're just throwing it through a cheap grinder, and you're not having a wow experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So where's that threshold?
Yeah, where's the line?
That's what we're searching for.
Yeah, but there's also, I just saw an electronic grinder.
Electronic?
From the Kreps one. The Kreps.
Yeah.
$50.
And those are worth considering too, because hand grinding for most people is not something they're first initially drawn to.
A lot of people don't like the ceremonial aspect of hand grinding.
The reason
grinding by hand, grinding with hands,
grounded hand ground,
handed grounded.
Yeah. The nice thing though about those is they're portable, and typically your burst set and quality of grind is a lot higher. It's
gonna be better
because you don't have to buy a motor too.
Yeah.
For cheaper.
Yeah.
So you can get a hand grinder.
Yeah.
For cheaper.
Yep. You can spend the money where it's needed.
So the search will continue. The review will come.
Yep. Full review.
Appreciate it, Handground. Thanks for sending it. Appreciate you guys for lissing.
Yeah.
Hope you have an awesome day. Go enjoy some coffee, maybe some Spro, maybe put them together at home.
We need to do a Breville video as well.
Yeah, we need to do some Breville updates. You got to get going on that milk.
Yeah.
Okay. Until next time.
Until next time, I hope you enjoyed this one. You can find the show notes at orangecactuscoffee.com/episode 93. If you check out the show notes, you'll find that we forgot about a cafe. Well, it wasn't really a cafe. So in its defense, its bad coffee was just bad, but the chocolate was really good. And it was inside the Bellagio. I think it was called like Jean-Philippe. And it was like a chocolate shop of sorts. Anyhow, we did not remember to talk about it, probably because the coffee was bad, but the chocolate was good. Just wanted to give you that last little shout out. So we made 6 cafes while we were out there, 2 short of the 8 that we wanted. Maybe next time. Until then,